Hey, and welcome to Turo Fitness Podcast, a podcast for people who want to get no BS information about fitness and know that fitness is about so much more than losing scale weight. It's about feeling confident in your skin and empowered in your life. I'm your host, Turo Virta, personal trainer, strength and nutrition coach, and most of all, a husband of my beautiful wife, Miriam. Each week, my guests and me will give you some no BS fitness tips and motivate you to take action in your own personal fitness journey as we talk about nutrition, exercise, mindset, personal development, and executing in life with enjoyable but still effective strategies. If your goal is to look better, feel and be strong and experience transformation from inside out, you, my friend, are in the right place. Thank you for jumping in, and now let's jump into today's episode. Hey, and welcome back to Turo Fitness Podcast, a podcast dedicated to helping you to transform your life through healthy living and mindfulness. Today, I want to dive into a subject that affects almost everyone on their fitness and wellness journeys, the fear and stress that comes a long way with your goals. So first, I want to talk a little bit about what is this fear and stress really mean? Because I recently talked with one of my coaching clients, Samia, and she had some setback with her medical situation, and she was visiting a doctor, and the doctor ordered her to lose 20 kilos of weight. And obviously that caused a lot of fear, a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety, as that is a huge goal. And often when you are talking about these kind of goals, that losing weight or achieving some significant health milestone, there is some fear that what if I don't make it? Like, especially if you think in this situation that if that doctor is telling you, which is obviously it's a big goal and a big achievement, and you are starting to have fear that what is going to happen if I'm not making? You are doubting yourself that am I able to actually do this, because it's a big thing, or or you might be thinking that how I possibly could get to my target weight when I have so much to lose. And these are thoughts not only to add stress, but also can seriously hamper your progress. So if you really think it, this is a vicious cycle. So that fear and stress, it can lead that you are getting so scared that you have those emotions. And when you feel those emotions, for many of us, the way how you are reacting, it's that it might be even that what you should be losing to lose weight, you have clear in your mind. But when it's that fear and anxiety, it's so strong, it might be leading to emotional eating, that you don't know, you are overwhelmed, you don't know what to do, how to deal with those emotions, and you end up eating. You might be procrastinating or just give up totally, like you are abandoning your fitness goals, even and it's a big thing, you must do it as somebody have told it. But then what it all that is leading, that if you don't you are not having that progress what you would like to see, or there is coming that that you should not be eating for emotions. When it still happens, it triggers even more fear, more stress, and you are repeating that kind of vicious cycle, and it's going to be counterproductive for your goals, as you know very well. So with this call with Samia, she had exactly those emotional roadblocks, and she knew, like, when we were talking, she that she tried to cut sugar completely out, and she was starting to add walking like a crazy, and adding some walking, and because she knows that she have to do. She knows that those things have helped her in the past to lose that weight, and but it's still, because if you think it like that, 20 kilos, it's a fucking big goal to achieve, and it's kind of a little bit overwhelming. But if you are, and if you think it like that, it's probably, if you talk with a doctor or something, they give you that you gotta do it as soon as possible, or there is something happening. And this is for me, I'm not a doctor or something, like you understand the point that you gotta be getting there. But if you think it like that, how you are getting there, it's not that if you think that whole goal, it feels it's a big goal, but how you are getting there, you get there one day at a time. And like we talked with Samia, that during that call, we shifted her mindset totally of losing that 20 kilos to taking it one day at a time. So it sounds a little bit cliche, but let's unpack it a little bit. So if you think like what is even that is it's a big goal, that 20 kilos, but if you think that what you can do today, what you can do tomorrow, what you can do, like what happened in the past, first of all, that doesn't matter, because that doesn't tell anything about future. So whatever have happened in the past, why maybe you have tried it in the past, you have made some progress, like most of the people, they know what they should be doing. Like Samia knew that for her was working, cutting all sugars, adding activity like walking, and that was working. But then if that is not leading that you are actually being able to maintain your results, why this time would be different? So we analyzed a little bit what was the problem in the past, and we created a plan what you can do today. And of course, the problem is that you have probably, if you don't know what you should be losing weight, you have probably a big list things what you know that you should be doing. Like maybe you want to cut carbs, maybe you want to cut sugar completely out, maybe you cut your whole favorite foods, you need to eat a little bit less, you should be exercising, you should be moving, you should be trying to eat your protein, vegetables, and so on. So there is a hundreds of things what you should be doing. And then when you feel like that, you might be able to do it for a short period of time, but when as soon as something happens in life is getting busy, like it always does, and there is something happening, maybe you have some setback, everything, it's you get that feeling of frustration that now it's getting so hard. So this is how we reduced her anxiety. And like it feels like that it sounds simple, but it is actually very simple. So on every single day's actions, so like what you can do today, and like with Samia, we created a plan what you have a most important things, what matters the most. And it's I would say that each phase, it should be 1 to 3 things, never more. Because if you are doing if you try to get too much on your plate, it's not going to how you're going to feel when you are not able to do it. So in Samia's case, we set couple things like amount of steps, like that is something what is 100% under your control. So you can if you try to get, let's say, it doesn't matter, I'm not for Samia was 9,000 steps, because she have been taking 6,000 7,000 steps. So adding just 1,000 2,000 maybe 3,000 steps per day, that feels that's doable. If he would try to go to double it, like go for 12,000 steps or doing even more, it's again too much at the time. Maybe after a month, when she's averaging 9,000 steps, what was her goal, it's time to add more things, but not in the beginning. So this was step number 1. Step number 2 was like additionally, she wanted to hit 20 minutes treadmill, zone 2 cardio. So this was step number 2, and this is 100% under your control. So she knows that she needs to hit the treadmill, do 20 minutes walking, and that's going to help her. Next step was third step. What we took for her was to focusing on her protein intake and adding protein. Why is that? It might sound like that. Why you should be adding protein? Because protein is something, these are just examples, by the way. It's not that you have to do this, but it was for her, like what she was struggling, because she was eating 40, maybe 50 grams of protein. her goal should be getting 120, 130 grams of protein. So there is a lot of room of improvement. And when she's able to get that protein, it's automatically leading, because protein is the most filling macronutrient, and you are feeling so full that you are eating automatically less other things. So this was step number 3, and it's not the goal. First goal was not to go from 40 grams to 120, because that's like a tripling your protein intake, but aiming for 100 grams or 80 grams. The only goal is to improve where you have been, and it doesn't need to be the optimal what is necessary. But when you are able to improve, let's say that you are able to get that 100 grams of protein or 90 grams of protein, and from there you do that for a couple of weeks, you try to build those routines that you get that in, and then it's time to take that next step and adding even more of it, what you are already doing. So these are everything actions what are 100% under your control, which are leading that and helping you to lose that, what is that big goal. And scale weight is something that you can't control. It's not even, it doesn't matter. Even you are doing everything, you hit your steps, you hit your treadmill, you hit your protein, you hit your calorie target, or whatever it is, your scale weight is not 100% under your control. In long term, it will go down, but on every single day after a day, you can't say that now I lost half kilo weight, I hit my goals, because literally you could be going for a sauna or hot tub and sweat out a little bit weight, and you would hit your goal without actually doing any of those actions which are helping. So this is how that kind of day-to-day mindset is helping you to achieve those big goals. And it could be that you set that goal for, if it's a weight loss. I'm not a big fan of weight loss goals. Like obviously you can when you are monitoring right things like collecting data, what you are doing, like a scale weight is something what I love to use for my clients. I love to control, take measurements, weights, but how I'm doing it is it's that you weigh yourself every single day, but taking only average weight per week. So you have one number per week, and that is seeing where that number and that trend is going. So if you are in a long term, it's going in a right direction where you want to go. And what is a good progress? This is something what most people, they have unrealistic expectations, and you feel like that you are not going anywhere, even you are actually making very good progress. So if you are losing, let's say that your calorie deficit should be 500 calories per day on average, it would mean that you are losing half kilo. So around 1 pound per week on average weight and fat. So this is a good progress to aim for. It could be that in the beginning it's more, because you might lose a little bit to water weight or whatever. But in the long term, if it slows down at some point and you are looking like that, you started, let's say 2 months ago, you have lost 4 kilograms, which is like 8 pounds or something. In 2 months, that is a very, very good progress in a long term. And it could be that some people are losing that weight within first 2 weeks, and after that they are maintaining. You are still on average making very good progress. And this is the key part to understand. And some people, even despite you are doing things accurately, you are doing everything you can, focusing on daily actions, you might not see scale moving in the beginning, but then at some point it will go down, maybe faster, but in the long term, that is the progress what you should be getting. And if it's not after, let's say 30 days, 60 days, 90 days where you want to be, then you are probably not in a deficit, or as big deficit as you think. And then it's time to adjust your methods, adjust your ways, what you are doing. But before telling that something is not working for me, you need a little bit longer time. So this is how we were structuring this process. So, and here is what was the other issue. Like I said, that I'm not telling, like, because that is why what my coaching, I think it's something what I love about myself. I'm not telling anyone or barely never that you must do this. It's totally up to you. My job is as a coach to provide strategies, because there are different ways what are working for each individual. And when something is working for some reason for your friend, like if you see that somebody is cutting sugar completely out, it might work for someone, but for someone else, it might not be the best possible strategy. Because this is that's what we ended up talking with the Samia also, that cutting sugar. I'm not telling that you can't do it, but I said that why? Because sugar itself, it's not the problem. Obviously, if you consume it too much over too long period of time, you are having like kind of empty calories way too much. But it's not that if you tell to yourself, like that's what she was saying, that she already started to see that now when she have that big goal, she started to say friends were asking her for going out, having maybe glass of wine, enjoying some cake occasionally once in a week or something. And she started to say that, no, I'm not going to do it, because you are unsocializing, you are not having any social life. And if that is where your weight loss journey, if you start to see that you recognize these kind of patterns, that you are telling things what you probably would like to do, but you are telling, no, I'm not going because I know how it's going to go, it's probably not going to be the most sustainable and the best way to do it. And when we were talking about these different options for her, and I said that if you like, I used to do, I have tried, I love to try different things, and obviously what works for me is probably not always what works for some other people. But because there are many coaches who are telling like that, if something is working for them, then they think that this is the way and how it's going to work for everyone. But with experience, I have seen that same things, they don't work. They barely never work for same people. You might have some kind of patterns what are helping that works for same type of people. But for example, with this sugar, I introduced her that kind of budget, calorie budget, and this is what Samia felt right away, that this might be actually, it's a good idea. Like, because instead of when you tell yourself that I can't have anything, you cut completely sugar out, you cut completely alcohol out, that you are not allowing yourself even a little bit. So and then she was like, I kind of miss it, that social life. I said, yeah, if that snacking is the problem, why you don't create a rule for yourself, like having kind of calorie budget? Because there is no like what it helps, like if you have kind of calorie budget, it removes that thinking like a good or bad food, or I can't have this. You have always options. You can have it. And there is no right or wrong answer how you want to do it. Like the best example, what I love to always tell is that for women, if they want to, like you could be using another example also, but for women, you want to have a new bag. And let's say your budget is 2,000. You have dollars or euros or whatever currency you are using. You have a budget. You have a choice whether you want to have one, like a brand, like I don't know, some brands. My wife thought that Louis Vuitton, or how to call it, it's some brand, like they produce like very expensive bags. So you can probably have one of those, or you could get some cheaper ones. You could have with 2,000, same money, same, obviously it's not the same thing, but you could have maybe 100 of them. So you end up spending exactly the same amount. And there is no good or bad. You appreciate different things. Sometimes you want to have something else. And if that makes you more happy, feeling better about it, that choice is totally up to you. And it's the same thing with the calories. How you end up, like obviously, if you end up every time having those kind of cheat meals, eating those calories within cheat meals, it's going to make things a lot harder, because just simply because you are going to, obviously it's not going to be optimal for your health or anything. I'm not telling that. But if you think just the calories, it's going to make you are going to be hungry. Your energy levels will not be as good as possible. But if you find kind of your middle way, that within those calories, you find what what is kind of that sweet spot for you. And for Samia, I was like that, why you wouldn't try to do like creating kind of rule for yourself with the snacks and that kind of thing, like what gives you a little bit freedom. Like what I love to say, it's 80-20 rule. It sounds like you probably heard what it means, that it's 80% should be kind of healthy and 20% it could be what you have a little bit more enjoyment. And let's say that your calorie budget, it's your maintenance, your calorie goal is 2000. So 20% would mean 400 calories per day. So obviously your number could be different. It could be, for example, 300. Or if your calorie goal is 1,500, then obviously it's a bit lower. That 20%, it's a 300 calories. But whatever number you decide to choose, then it's totally up to you. That if that 80%, I use now 2,000 because that's simple to think. So 400 calories every single day would be your budget to eat foods which are not necessarily the most healthiest one, but what gives you that enjoyment. And that could include wine. It could include sugars, sweets, cakes, chocolate, whatever you enjoy eating. And we think that when you stay within that budget, you are going to have a little bit more freedom. You are going to have, but you are still making sure that you have those nutrients, what you are going to need. Like if you have majority of your foods are like what I love to call it's one ingredient foods. It means that there is only one ingredient. So if you think that if you look at whatever you are going to put into your mouth and you look label, you see that there is a lot of things like colors, whatever things you have there. But if you have just one ingredient, like let's say that you have a potato, you have a apple, you have a banana, there is only one ingredient. But soon as you start to eat something like what is like a little bit more processed, there is a lot of those things. And when majority of your foods are minimally processed and whole nutritious foods, you're doing it great. And then the rest, eat whatever you want. Because it's not that, obviously, if you want to go for having a one glass of wine, depending on wine, it has maybe 120, 140 calories. So you could have 2-3 glasses. But then depending what you have with that wine, it's if you are going to snack some chips or whatever, this is all including for your kind of cheat budget or I don't like to call it like a cheating, because it's not cheating. You are just deciding or choosing to eat more enjoyable foods. And when you use this, your budget, it gives you freedom, but you have still some kind of rules like that. It's not that you are going out and because often if you tell to yourself that I can't have any sweets, I can't have any alcohol. And then when at some point, you might be able to resist it for a while. And then when you go out and say that, okay, now I can't take it anymore, and now I'm going to have it. So then it's kind of off limits. You are not say that, okay, I'm eating and drinking now today as much as I want, and usually even a lot more than you know that you would have enough already. But because you are telling yourself that tomorrow I'm going to start over. So now it doesn't matter anymore because I ruined already everything. And this is the point where you actually self-sabotage your progress. But when you have that kind of, you made yourself your own rules like that. Like I said, I'm not making rules for yourself or for you. You make those rules. And then it's up to you how you are sticking with them. So if you have that 300, 400 calorie budget for foods, drinks, what you actually enjoy eating, your journey is going to be a lot more sustainable, and you are going to have you increase your chances to stick with your plan, and plus you remove that guilt and shame what you probably are having. And so this is now to summarize everything what I talked here. So start small. Don't think about that 20 kilos or whatever you need to be losing. Think about that half kilo. What is your goal this week, and what actions are going to lead it? And don't try to take everything. Don't try to take everything about your to-do list, that it's going to be everything. pick 1 to 3 things and focus only on those things. And after a day, when you can tell to yourself that, let's say that, like for Samia, I said that 3 things, it's already pretty much. But if end of the day, you can mark as done 2 of 3 things, you are doing it great, because last week it was 0, maybe one days it was 1, some days was 1, but on average, you never had more than, after a week, from these 3 things, you had maybe 7 to 10, you were marked that you were doing it. But now, what is the progress? It's not to hit 21, like every single day, all 3 things. But let's say that you are able to improve from 7, you are going to 14, or from 10 to 14, you are having on average 2 things. Next week, you have exactly the same things, but you are trying to aim for 60. And then week by week, it's becoming easier. And on a day by day, day after day, you are getting closer to your goals, because you are able to focus on those actionable things, which are in the long term is going to lead to your end goal, that big goal, what is in your mind. And tip number 2 is that kind of positive self-talk. So this is kind of what we are all guilty. We are very good. If I ask from my clients, for example, that tell me one thing you are not happy with yourself this week. And usually I get within a second, you are ready to give answer. And not only one, there are many. I missed this, I didn't do this. But think it like that. What is a good thing? And usually we ignore those things. Like if you think your situation back, let's say maybe a week ago, maybe a month ago, or maybe you go back in 1 year and think how you would react normally on these situations and what you would normally do. And this is not to compare yourself with someone else, like that you see in social media that this one is making so much progress, losing so much weight, but comparing yourself where you have been in the past. And when you are making progress, and that progress is sometimes it's very hard to recognize ourselves, because we are so hard on ourselves that because we know we have those big to-do lists, and when you don't hit exactly everything, or everything is not going planned, you are then feeling guilt and shame. And this is why you must celebrate also and talk positively about yourself, because you are, in the end, you are only human. And the best thing is that if you think like that, listen how you are talking to yourself. And if you wouldn't use the same language, how you talk to yourself, to your best friend who is struggling, don't use it for yourself too. Because if let's imagine that your best friend is coming to tell you that, what advice you should give me, that, I ate like a shit today. I was having like 5 glasses of wine, some snacks on the other day, and I feel really guilty about it. You wouldn't tell to your best friend that, you fucking idiot, what you just did, that put yourself together and start doing it. No, instead you would say probably like that, that's life. It happens. You are only human, and move forward and act like nothing happened. But still, you are telling yourself totally different thing. So this is, and it's easier said than done, but just talk to yourself. Listen how you are talking to yourself, and learn to find positive ways to talk to yourself, because it's all starting how you are talking to yourself. And then what I love to use is that simple checklist method, what I already mentioned. Write down that your tasks, what you can with your actions complete, well, what you can say with 100% accurately after every single day that you have completed them. So it's going to be something what is measurable, and just ticking it off. Like if your goal is to, like Samia's case, hitting 100 grams of protein, you have 100 grams of protein. It's either yes or no. And when you have done it, it's done. If your goal is to hit 9,000 steps, once you hit 9,000 steps, it's done. When your goal is to go on treadmill, go for zone 2 cardio for 20 minutes, walking or running or whatever your goal is, or strength training, it's either you have done it or you haven't, and it's done. So you have those tasks. And once you accomplish those tasks, which are usually, if they are helping to achieve that bigger goal, you are feeling so much better about yourself. Because if you try to get those 100 things what you should be doing, and then once you can, it feels overwhelming, you feel frustrated, you feel anxious that am I ever going to get to that my big goal. So these are hopefully helpful, and what is going to help you to manage this emotional cycle it's to have some kind of support system. So it's either having some friends or family members who understands what you are going through and can offer maybe some emotional, even some other support, that you are keeping yourself accountable for someone. It could be a coach like myself, or in, for example, my Facebook group. I have 2 groups. Other one is a free accountability group called Fit VIP Fitness Friends for Life. Another one I use for my clients. So we are checking in there, talking what is going on, and just keeping you accountable and seeing like that you are not alone. There are several people who are struggling with exactly the same things, and it's not easy. It's very hard to stay consistent. It's very hard. You are going to have some setbacks, but when you have that support system, who is pushing you, motivating you, celebrating you when you are doing those things, it makes everything so much easier. So don't underestimate, because if you are like, I'm guilty of that kind of frustration too. Like that, I'm more like a person who is like, I know how to do it by myself. And when I don't get there, then it's frustrating. I get overwhelmed what I should be doing. And then when I'm part of coaching groups and mentorships, and that is when I see that I'm not alone. There is same people going through exactly the same problems, same coaches struggling. Like if I try to make some Instagram posts or TikTok videos, and I get anxious. Like I get worried, like I don't reach new people, I don't have followers, or whatever reason. Like for you, it might be some kind of weight loss struggles or fitness struggles, that you are not reaching your goals as quickly as possible or as fast as you should think, or there are some setbacks. When you are surrounded with same-minded people and you are able to actually talk with those things, that's going to be a game changer, how you are feeling about yourself, and seeing that you are not alone in this journey. You are not alone with your struggles. But if you keep it like, I'm guilty for that 100%, I keep everything by myself, and then it leads that it opened my eyes when I started to actually talk with these things. I record this podcast for you, just talking with these things, and this is helping so much to create that kind of clarity and understanding that this is a journey. It's not. It's what ultimately what matters is consistency. That you are doing better things, making smarter choices, smarter decisions in the long term, than focusing on those how every single day went. And then when you are in a longer period, like learning to think like a little bit in the long term. Because if you keep repeating these habits, what you have, you are where you are today. It's a sum of habits what you had yesterday or within past months. That is the fact. And sooner you understand it, better you will be. And then when you start to change those small things, those habits, and learning to actually be consistent, that's when everything starts to change. So to wrap up this episode, so focus on present, starting small, having support system, and it will make everything so much easier. So I would appreciate if you have any takeaways from this episode, please share it in your social media or just with the one friend, and let me know. I would love to tag, if you listen my podcast, that you are tagging me, take a screenshot from this episode, tag me in social media, and let me know what you think about this episode. What was your biggest takeaway? Because this is, if you are just listening passively, taking advice, oh, that was good advice, but you never put it down, write it down, start actually taking action. probably you are going to forget everything I talked. It's honest truth, but it's how it is, like that, what we are doing, how we are dealing with all information, because there's so much good information available, but if you never put it into action, you start taking action, writing down what you actually learn, because the best way is to if you learn something new, what was like that big aha moment that, wow, if you tell it to someone else to teach it, it's more likely that it's going to stick with you. There are several studies from that, and just I would appreciate it, obviously. And if you haven't done, thank you for those who have left 5-star reviews in Spotify, Apple Podcasts, where you can leave it. Those are helping massively me to reach more people. So thank you for those who have already done it, and if you haven't, would more than appreciate. So thank you for listening, and talk to you soon.
Hold up, friend. Do you love Fit Me Turo Fitness podcast? If so, the best way to say thank you is to subscribe to the podcast and leave a review on iTunes. I know every podcaster wants you to leave a review, but it's because those reviews help the podcast to reach more people. I truly want to know what you think, and if this particular episode resonated with you, would you also please share it? Either send a link to someone who you think will find it valuable, or take a screenshot and post it into your social media and tell your friends and family why they should listen it. Make sure you tag me so I can hear your feedback and give you a little love. And if you aren't already following me on Instagram or TikTok, that's the perfect time to hit that follow button. Thank you for being here and listening to Fit Me Turo Fitness podcast.